I have a soft spot for movies that feel like they were made before anyone in the room asked, "Is this safe?" And Dirty Mary Crazy Larry is exactly that kind of movie. It does not feel polished. It does not feel controlled. It feels like someone pointed a camera at a speeding car, trusted the stunt drivers, and hoped the whole thing would survive until the final shot. And somehow that reckless energy became the reason people still remember it. Released in 1974, Dirty Mary Crazy Larry looked like a simple chase movie on the surface. A robbery, a fast car, a loud woman, a colder than expected getaway driver, and the law chasing them across open roads. But behind that simple setup is a movie built from strange casting choices, real stunt danger, driving culture, 1970s anti-authority energy, and one ending that still feels like a punch in the chest. So let's unmask the road, the car, and the chaos behind Dirty Mary Crazy Larry. Before Dirty Mary Crazy Larry became a cult car chase movie, it began as a 1963 novel called The Chase, written by Richard Unekis, and that already tells you something important. This was not originally designed as a glossy Hollywood action ride. The story came from pulpy crime fiction, quick, rough, and morally uncomfortable. The basic idea was already there. Two men commit a robbery, take off with the money, and try to stay ahead of the police, but the movie sharpened that premise into something much more visual. Instead of making the story feel like a normal crime thriller, the filmmakers turned the road itself into the main arena. The robbery is just the ignition. The real movie begins when the engine starts screaming. What makes this even stranger is that many fans who love Dirty Mary Crazy Larry have never even heard of The Chase. The film became bigger than its source. The book gave it the bones, but the movie gave it gasoline. When Peter Fonda played Larry, audiences could not separate him from Easy Rider, and honestly, that makes sense. By 1974, Fonda was already one of the faces of American counterculture cinema. He had become linked to motorcycles, rebellion, open roads, and characters who refused to live by other people's rules, so casting him in Dirty Mary Crazy Larry felt obvious. But Larry is not just another free-spirited outlaw. He is colder than that. He is more calculating, and the opening robbery proves it. Larry and Deke do not rob a bank in a wild, chaotic way. They target a supermarket manager and use his family as leverage. That detail changes everything. Suddenly, Larry is not just a cool guy in a fast car, he is smart, ruthless, and dangerous. That is why Fonda's performance works. He brings the familiar rebel energy, but he drains away some of the romance. Larry has charm, but he also has a hard edge. He is not chasing freedom in a poetic way. He is chasing money, and that makes the movie more uncomfortable than its title suggests. Mary feels so loud, impulsive, and aggressively American that it is easy to miss the trick. Susan George was British. She was born in London, and by the time Dirty Mary Crazy Larry came around, she was already known internationally because of Straw Dogs. But here, she had to play a completely different kind of character. Mary is not quiet. She is not controlled. She crashes into Larry's plan like a human spark plug. She is flirtatious, irritating, fearless, funny, and unpredictable, sometimes all in the same scene. And Susan George sells it so well that many viewers had no idea she was hiding her real accent. That matters because Mary could have become just a noisy side character, but George gives her a strange kind of energy. She is annoying on purpose, but never boring. She pushes Larry, breaks his rhythm, and makes the getaway feel even more unstable. The chemistry between Mary and Larry is not soft romance, it is friction. You are never completely sure whether they want each other, hate each other, or simply enjoy making the situation worse. That tension gives the movie one of its most memorable human engines. Here is the odd part. Dirty Mary Crazy Larry feels deeply American. The cars, the highways, the rural towns, the distrust of police, the fantasy of outrunning everything. But the director, John Huff, was British. Before this movie, Huff had directed The Legend of Hell House, a supernatural horror film. On paper, that is not the most obvious background for a sunburned American car chase movie. But maybe that outsider perspective helped. Huff did not treat the roads like ordinary locations. He made them feel almost mythic, wide, flat, empty spaces where the characters could run, but never really escape. The movie was shot largely on location in Florida, around Gainesville and the surrounding countryside. That choice gives the film a texture that a backlot could never fake. The heat feels real, the roads feel real, the distance feels real, and the characters seem very small against all that open space. That is one reason the movie still works. It does not feel like a chase happening inside a controlled movie set. It feels like the camera is trying to keep up with something it might lose at any second. Peter Fonda is the face of the movie. Susan George is the chaos. But the 1969 Dodge Charger is the thing people remember in their bones. That car is not just transportation, it is attitude. It has weight, noise, shape, and danger. Every time it appears, the movie feels like it has found its true center. The production used multiple Chargers because this was not the kind of film where one hero car could survive every setup. There was no CGI safety net. If the car slid through a turn, it really slid. If it flew down a road, it was really moving. If it got damaged, something physical had actually happened. That practical reality is a huge part of the movie's appeal. Modern films can create impossible car action with digital tools, but Dirty Mary Crazy Larry has a different kind of thrill. You can feel the risk in the image. The Charger became a symbol of the whole movie. Beautiful, powerful, reckless, and doomed. It is not just the car Larry drives, it is the movie's heartbeat. The stunt work in Dirty Mary Crazy Larry belongs to a very different filmmaking era. Today, a production like this would be surrounded by stricter rules, more digital planning, more controlled environments, and more ways to protect everyone involved. But in 1974, car chase filmmaking was often much more physical. Real vehicles, real roads, real speed. The drivers had to coordinate hero cars, police cars, camera cars, and aerial footage with very little room for error. The helicopter shots especially give the movie an extra layer of danger because the aircraft often feels uncomfortably close to the action. That is why the chase sequences have such a nervous pulse. They do not feel overly designed, they feel captured. And that is a very different sensation. You are not watching a computer-generated car move through a digital world. You are watching metal, rubber, road, sunlight, dust, and timing. The film helped prove that a car chase did not need an overly complicated plot if the momentum was strong enough. That influence can be felt in later outlaw road movies and television shows. The basic ingredients became familiar. A fast car, a stubborn lawman, open roads, and an audience secretly hoping the criminals get away. Dirty Mary Crazy Larry did not invent all of that, but it understood the formula with brutal clarity. The ending is the reason this movie never completely leaves people. For most of the film, Dirty Mary Crazy Larry trains you to believe in escape. The Charger keeps moving, the road keeps opening, Larry keeps pushing. Even when the situation gets worse, the movie makes you feel like speed itself might be enough, and then in one instant, that fantasy is destroyed. The famous train collision was not the ending from the original novel. It was created for the film, and it gives the story a finality that still feels shocking. There is no clever escape, no last-minute turn, no sequel door left open, just impact. And the most incredible part is that the destruction was practical. The filmmakers used a real train and real vehicles to capture that final collision. That is why it hits so hard. It has weight, it has violence, it has that sickening feeling of something you cannot rewind. Audiences in 1974 did not walk into the movie expecting that kind of ending. They came for speed, attitude, and outlaw fun. What they got was a final shot that turned the whole ride into something darker. Suddenly, the movie was not just saying that Larry could not be caught, it was saying that nobody outruns consequence forever. That is why Dirty Mary Crazy Larry still has power after all these years. It is rough around the edges, but that roughness is part of its identity. It came from a forgotten novel, carried the shadow of Easy Rider, used a British actress and a British director to capture American rebellion, turned a Dodge Charger into a cult icon, and ended with one of the most brutal full stops in 1970s action cinema. It is not a clean movie, it is not a safe movie, it is a movie with exhaust in its lungs and danger in its bloodstream, And sometimes that is exactly why a film survives. What about you? Did the ending make Dirty Mary Crazy Larry better, or did it go too far? Drop your take in the comments and tell us which classic road movie we should unmask next. And if you enjoy hidden movie stories, strange production secrets, and the weird facts behind the films people still talk about, subscribe to Cinema Unmasked, because every movie has a mask and we are here to take it off.